Please note, we are happy to announce the third phase and the final phase of Help for Homes initiative. As you know, that government had in the first phase, allocated $88 million. In the second phase, we had $20 million allocated, and then in the third phase, we have now allocated $25 million. We have managed to find some savings within Head 50 itself, and so these funds will be wired within Head 50 to be able to take care of those people who had been left out in the Help for Homes initiative in the first and the second phase. We have, of course, a number of hardware companies that will be participating in it, including Kasabia's, Refrigeration Electrical, CBS, Dials, Harrods Hardware, Reki Hardware. RC Manuba and Tapuz, as they did not participate in the second phase, won't be participating in the second phase because they're very nearly there. They very nearly completed the first phase, but we want them to complete the first phase completely, then they can participate in it. And we expect the reports from carpenters to be finalized in the next couple of days. Should they have finished, then they would also participate in the third phase. The Permanent Secretary and the Minister would be starting this exercise beginning of next week. I'd like to hand over to the Acting Minister to read out the areas that they'll be covering. Of course, we have, prior to that, I just wanted to highlight that there are some people who have already built their homes or have repaired their homes, and therefore they are still eligible for the refund. As you know, we have a refund scheme, but they need to ensure that the receipts that they produce need to obviously be legitimate. Those receipts obviously need to be receipts that are post-Cyclone Winston as opposed to pre-Cyclone Winston. And also we need to ensure that people fill out those forms. There is a statutory declaration under the law that is in place to ensure that they give the correct information. So Minister, now perhaps you can highlight the areas that you'll be covering.
Thank you, AG. As mentioned, that quite a lot of areas were left out, and some individuals have raised concerns about when the next phase is starting. So we hope to roll out, not hope to, we will be rolling out this third and final phase on the 11th of April. And this will be done as it was done for phase 1 and phase 2. Again, mentioned people need to go to the centers and fill in the registration form. We are yet to cover parts of Tavua, Ba, parts of Lautoka area that was affected, Yasawa, Dakandrove and Bua. If I could read the names starting from Tavua districts, we have actually close to 20 villages and settlements that we are to cover, starting from Kavuli, Rambulu village, Rambulu settlement, Yangara, Galela, Tangitangi, Longa, Naseani, Waikona, Nambelevu, Toko 1, Toko number 2, Losa. So apart from this, the full list would be provided for in the local newspapers. For Ba, we've had a lot of concerns because we only managed to cover a third of the areas that was affected in Ba, and so areas like there's a lot of areas: Lavudi, Nataletake, Itetoko, Khalsa settlement, Vatulaulau, Tarivo, Sasarava, Naitamusu, Navoli, Namau, Navanga, Sarava, Bukuya. So there's Walalai, Tavola, Varandoli. There's quite a lot of areas that was left to cover in Ba, and we hopefully will cover it in the third and final phase. Lautoka, yes, Lautoka, parts of Lautoka was also in the red zone or the priority areas, and they include Dele Tamuka, Nekambula, and again Tamuka, Kemod Road, Natambua Koro, Ramzad Road, where the old people's home is located, Malawai settlement, Nanuku settlement, Bavanda Road, Kashmir, and again quite a lot of areas to be covered there. We'll also be doing the final phase for the Kondrove, Kanakana village, Nela village, Napuka village, Nukubolo village, and Nakoro settlement, Nakundravi. Again, like I said, the list would be provided to the public as and where the teams would be. And of course, Bua, we did not touch Bua at all, so we will be covering the areas affected in Bua. So all in all, we are looking at close to 6,000 recipients under this third and final phase. But obviously, there were people who had been missed out. They will also be assisted under this scheme. All the public needs to do is to take a valid photo ID to the centers, as will be advertised in the media, and fill in the registration form there and then with the assistance of the team from Ministry of Health. Ministry of Women and Children. You might be wondering why the Minister for Health is here. At the moment I'm acting Minister for Women, so that's why I'm doing this. And we look forward for the public to get assisted, and hopefully, like AG has mentioned, for the refunds, they need to provide valid invoices and receipts that the houses sustained damages after TC Winston, and the applications would be processed by the Ministry of Women, and they will be refunded under this scheme as well. We once again would like to inform the public that when they sign the registration form, they are making a declaration that the information that they are giving is the truth, and their houses were indeed damaged during TC Winston. So, thank you.
Thank you. And the PS will obviously be going on Talkback Radio, and he's here with us today and giving further details. There'll also be announcer messages on radio, in particular in the radio stations that cover the rural areas. And messages will be given out daily as to which areas will be covered, when, and where the stations will be located. Just on that note also, I mean, looking forward, we've also been talking to the Insurance Council of Fiji. We had a meeting last week with the President, who's the CEO of Tower Insurance, and we're looking at some better ways of getting insurance for those people who are currently uncovered for insurance, and perhaps getting some capping on that, but at least providing some form of relief with some attractive premium rates. So we are currently working with her, and we'd like to thank her actually for taking this initiative. Never before have we had a CEO of an insurance company that's been very forthcoming and wanting to actually participate in ensuring that when we do have such climatic events, that people generally are covered for it. So it does reduce burden on the state. It does provide people a lot of safety, not just safety, but also in terms of security financially. So they have access to funds readily available. There, of course, needs to be some adjustments in the way that perhaps people, strap their houses, strap their roofs. So those are some of the issues that need to be discussed at the moment with the various engineers. We need to come up with a package because obviously some form of coverage will be better than no coverage at all. And it is very critical that people do get access to those type of funds almost immediately once they have that cover. So we are working on that front also. And again, I would like to thank her for her input into that and her willingness to actually participate in that respect. Do you have any questions?
Yes, sir. Just would you like to give an update on how many cases are being investigated regarding giving false information?
I don't have the exact figures on me now, but obviously there were cases that had been reported. We have a audit team from the Ministry of Economy that carries out random checks, or should the staff of Ministry of Poverty Alleviation, refer any suspicious type of transactions or suspicious applications, then they go and carry out those audit checks. So some matters obviously have been reported already to the police. They're quite thorough, the audit team in the Ministry of Economy, to ensure that they don't necessarily report matters to the police when they should not be reported to the police. On the other hand, obviously we have to ensure that any case that does need reporting, it does actually get reported. But we can provide you with the figures, but I don't have the figures on me.
Previously, the issue arose where the cements were more exported than used locally. How the issue has been addressed?
Well, generally you find that we think that the supply end of things have stabilized. There's quite a lot of pressure on the, not just cement, but of course at one stage it was on timber, at one stage it was actually on steel. There is still a huge rebuild program going on, as you know, that with the government's school rebuild program, there's obviously a lot of pressure on steel supplies. There are lots of other individuals who are building their own homes, not necessarily because of damage caused by Cyclone Winston, but general run-of-the-mill, building of homes. There's a lot of warehouses and factories being built, as you would have seen around. So there's quite a lot of pressure in respect of the on the supply side of things. But it's a lot better than what it was, and government still, continues with the duty-free access that we had given for at least for the first and second phase. We had done that, and but we expect the supply side to be a bit more stable now.
Just a clarification, is the participation in third phase, will they participate or will they not until it's...
No, I said that R.C. Manubhai and Vinod Patel aren't participating in respect of until they finish the first lot. But in respect of carpenters, as you know, that they need to also complete theirs. So we'll find out in the next few weeks, in the next few days, because we suspect that they would finish all the orders by this week. So should they have finished it, then they'll obviously participate in the third phase. But we're also happy to say that we understand from the latest figures that R.C. Manubhai and Vinod Patel have almost nearly completed their end in respect of the supply side for the first phase.
So how many Fijians have been assisted in the first phase and second phase?
We don't have the exact figures. PS, I don't know if you have the exact figures.
Yes, we had 23,000 that were assisted in phase 1, and in the phase 2 we assisted 3,800.
About 27,000.
So about about 28,000 Fijians have been assisted. Yeah. I mean, I have to say this is unprecedented. This type of assistance is unprecedented, where government, for the first time in any Fijian government, has outlaid such a huge amount of money to help people actually rebuild their homes. Never before has this been done and on such a scale, and in such a methodology where people are actually given the option to purchase what they want to purchase from hardware stores to rebuild their homes, and they prioritize. So it is very unprecedented, and of course a lot of people have been very, very thankful for what has happened, what government has done. Unfortunately, the media does not cover the positive stories, some more than others. But the fact of the matter is that there are a lot of very, very satisfied and happy Fijians and grateful Fijians and appreciative Fijians for this initiative that government has embarked upon. I think the other aspect of it is, of course, many people have got to use technology that they have not used before. The fact that people got these cards, that they actually had to go and put it into a machine, and they were able to, have their monies deducted from that for them was also an experience. And in fact, some of the international agencies have commended government for being creative in respect of using that type of technology and getting people introduced to that. As you know, that many people, in particular in the rural areas, don't necessarily use, for example, ATM cards or FPOS machines and ATM machines. So there is one way of also introducing them to new technology, and it is a lot more accountable in respect of we can see where the dollar is being spent. It also gives us an insight once all of this exercise is completed to see what are the priority type of supplies that people actually use. We'll be able to get all of that information from the hardware companies and see what are the most fundamentally required hardware that people actually do buy. So it helps us to also to do in terms of planning, in terms of pricing for the future. So it creates a lot of synergy out of this particular exercise. And unfortunately, again, I think the media has not been able to focus on those positive aspects as to how we can build on that data to be able to provide better planning for the future. Okay, thank you, Anaka. Thanks.
Please, this is for you.